Have you been waiting patiently for the next season of You? We have, and the trailers have us absolutely dying to see what happens next. Joe, the killer star of the show, may actually meet his demise in the next season. Did you see that coming? At the end of the last season, we saw Joe framing love for murder and escaping to Paris. The new trailer for season 4 has been released, and it seems that Joe will be living in London, lying to everyone in his new life about who he is. Keep watching to hear more about what we thought of the trailer and to hear Penn Badgley talk about that scene from the plot. Apparently, the infamous scene was actually much grosser than what ended up on Netflix.
Your mind. Candace. When the have a fresh start. Past is on your
I think we have some unfinished
If you haven't seen the show, You is the story of what one man considers a love story. In reality, our romantic leading man is a serial killer, and the audience goes along for the ride with him while he commits horrible crimes. The series is based on a series of books by Caroline Kepnes, but to Joe, he's stalking women because he's in love. The show cleverly turns romantic tropes on their heads. It's a dark satire at its most detestable. The first 2 seasons depicted Joe's dangerous obsession with a woman he met by happenstance. Guinevere Beck. He stalks her, manipulates her, and eventually kills her. After disposing of Beck's body, Joe moves and falls in love again, this time with a woman who may be even crazier than he is. Love Quinn, Joe's new heartthrob, also happens to be a killer.
thing. If that's the moment, you did it again, didn't you?
She really hurt you.
Most dangerous.
About your ex, isn't it? This is about you.
And the two of them move to the suburbia where they both partake in their twisted desires. Love even becomes pregnant with Joe's baby, Messi. In season 3, Love and Joe end up in a deadly game where each tries to kill the other. Love was killed at the end of the season. Love, anticipating Joe trying to kill her, catches him in a trap. She covers the handles of the kitchen knives in aconite, a paralytic, knowing that he would grab for one and try to come at her. Her plan works, and Joe becomes paralyzed temporarily. And it ended up being much more temporary than Love anticipated. Apparently, in another twist, Joe knew of this trick and had preemptively taken an antidote. Joe then injects her with the same paralytic, stages the scene, and burns the house to the ground with his wife inside. Ouch. Some fans even think she may not actually be dead, but more on that later. Back to season 4 and the information we've gathered from the trailers.
What do you want, Candace?
Perfect bite?
Your intentions with my sister.
Along with Joe living in London, we also know that while he's there, people will start getting killed. But it's not what you think. Joe is innocent this time. At this time, we don't have any information on who the killer is, and we assume it will be a new character. Or will it? Joe channels his inner Dexter this coming season, and apparently starts trying to solve the mystery himself. But then, he winds up with a stalker. Karma? Joe, frustrated, with a group of potential suspects in front of him, exclaims, "I ran away from all this, but one of you is watching me. One of you is hiding in plain sight. So who are you?" We can't help but hear all of the yous in this line, and to us, it screams series finale. What do you think? Will Joe be picked off this season by another crazed killer? Will they join forces? And another possibility, will Love Quinn return? Some of you may be scratching your heads right now, but we must remember that we did not actually see Love die. Some fans have also pointed out that the audience never sees a funeral or a memorial service for her. All we really know is that Joe tells us that he killed Love. As with any story with an unreliable narrator, we shouldn't take his word for truth unless we actually see the events he's describing playing out. Not to mention, his style of manipulated narration is usually used to serve his own warped sense of the world.
Yourself with. You? Who you surround yourself. Hello. LA is what you make of it. I'm told
makes me cry.
Yeah, if you're not on the socials, that you might be some kind of freak.
So we have an unreliable narrator with narcissistic tendencies, a woman who is familiar with aconite, and no body or real death scene. We smell a surprise revival. Maybe love will return and end up being Joe's downfall in the end. Maybe this other serial killer in London is actually her. The possibilities are endless. And now we must return to season 1 to discuss that one scene in the pilot. For those who don't remember, the pilot had one very disturbing scene in which Joe pleases himself while staring at Beck through her window. Penn Badgley wanted to truly bring this character to life with all of the ugly parts on full display. So he decided not to shy away from this ghastly sight. He felt it was especially important to make sure that this horrific character was not romanticized in any way. He spoke on the issue here. One of the things that I struggled with a lot when I first took the role is that I don't want to lean away from the horrific aspects of this person. I don't want to be, as we've said, it's hard not to glorify actually almost anything you see on camera, so I'm gonna just be conscious of that. In most of the takes of this scene, Badgley took this idea to the extreme. He kept his eyes wide open, refused to blink, and made his motions very slow and deliberate. The director ended up needing to ask him to take his performance down a notch. It was just too much. The take that we got on Netflix is much tamer than the one that Penn originally shot. While we do think that Badgley has the right idea when it comes to showcasing the horror of this character, the director also was aware that it wouldn't serve the show well to make the character unwatchable. Because of this delicate balance the show needs to strike, the character of Joe is often portrayed as terrible, but also charming and somehow likable. The show is also framed by Joe's narration, and the director knew that in order to keep watching, audiences needed to not be totally horrified by hearing his voice. We can imagine that filming a scene such as this would be awkward at best and traumatizing at worst. What do you think of Penn Badgley's philosophy when it comes to playing this character? Do you think he has the right idea? Or do you think the director is closer to being right and tamping down the madness? Some naysayers think that this show is going the same way as 13 Reasons Why in its dangerous messaging. Do you think this show fails in its mission not to glorify Joe? We would love to hear what you thought of the trailer, any theories you have for the next season, and what you think of this director-actor clash with Penn Badgley. Do you have any idea for who the killer might be that we didn't cover? Don't forget to leave us a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. If you don't want to miss any new videos, ring that notification bell as well. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you all in the next one.